Hi friends, I'm the vegan. I make a cake today, nut and jam layer cake. That's called Linzertorte. That's an expression I use in both German and English. Linzertorte, from the city of Austria called Linz. They have these ancient cities in Europe with beautiful buildings and ancient traditions, and they cook the most terrific food, but it's not vegan mostly. But this one, of course, is, and it is pretty simple, and I use a trick. I have this spring form as usual for the cakes, and I will use it twice. Yeah, I make 2 layers of dough, and the crusts, 2 crusts I show you. And for the crust, it's mainly a nut layer cake with the jam. The nuts here play a major part because I have different nuts and almonds, walnuts, coconuts, hazelnuts, so yeah, pretty much. But of course I need to process them in a food processor, fitted with the S plate. Yeah, and these cakes, raw food cakes, with the nuts on the bottom. As always, the thing is always that you get the right texture. Shouldn't be too sticky and shouldn't be too too fluffy, otherwise it fall apart. With a 2-layer cake, it's even more important. So here, I have here about 2 cups of almonds, and these are the hardest nuts, the main part. So I begin with them, and I put the other ingredients in later. It has to become a sticky dough, so I need more ingredients. But I begin with the almonds. That takes less time in the end, because they process easy on their own. So I have a coarse meal now. Here, this is almond meal, almond flour, and it's coarse, you see, and it won't become much finer later, because now I put the other ingredients in, like for example the dates. That's here most important, because they make we need these to make a sticky dough. There's sugar inside, they're sweet, I pitted them, of course, and I have 15 or so for the 2 cups. So with 15 dates, it's pretty easy to get a sticky dough. That's what I do first now. I have to do some more processing, but now I begin with the dates first. So this is the dates together with the almonds, and this I could use as a sticky dough already. I show you what it looks like. It's pretty coarse, but if I press it together like this, it will be sticky, you see. But it's not sticky enough yet, almost, I say. If I would press it firmly into the bottom of the spring form here, it might be enough, but it's not. I think I have to do a little bit more. But that's okay, because I have to put some more ingredients to make the dough a little bit more like a complete cake. Once I made this such a dough, just with these 2 ingredients on its own to enjoy, like a cookie, no problem. It's delicious. Nuts, almonds, and dates are delicious. It's a snack. So you can have that dough on its own. But to make it a real cake, a little bit more fancy, Linzertorte, inspired by, I would put also here 2 more main ingredients here. I have coconut flakes on a grated coconut, and I have walnuts. These walnuts and the grated coconut are very soft, and there's a lot of fat in them. And that makes it easy for the processor to incorporate that, so I put it last. And together with these, I will also put 2 spices, because these 2 spices go perfectly, as well as with the nuts, and especially this is cinnamon, especially for the nuts. And this is cardamom, and this is especially for the jam. I have a cherry jam. I've already made it, and there's already a video you can watch if you like know how to make a cherry jam here. And this is perfect to combine with the cherries, cardamom and cinnamon, of course, too. Both are perfect. And funny thing, all this is super healthy stuff. The cinnamon is super high in antioxidants as well as the cherries. Yeah, that's a match. And the cardamom is super healthy for the tummy, for the intestine. It calms the abdomen. So very, very nice and soothing. It's a little like pepper, a little bit, but not as hot. It's more this strong flavor, yeah, but it's perfect with sweetness, with desserts as well as spicy and savory. But here it's enough. Now I will incorporate this a little bit more careful because I don't want to overprocess, and I don't want to have these ingredients too coarse nor too fine. I find out what it's like. Let's see. I guess it's done. It's pretty good. I show what I have. So that's almost done. Yeah, I have here the dough. Yeah, the sticky dough. I show you. This is the stickiness. Maybe it could be a little bit more. A little bit more would yet be nice. Yeah, because when I press it firmly, it still is a little bit. It falls a little bit apart still. It will be a tough job to make it a really crust. I have to use some strength soon to press it in the form, but still I would put in one more ingredient. And the last one, these are hazelnuts. I have only a few of them, and I will process now the dough a last time and to have some of the pieces of the hazelnuts in there to make it a little bit more interesting in texture. And by the way, I will also process a little bit further to get a little bit more stickiness into the dough. Because the more sticky it is, the less work it is to press it into the spring form. Now let's see, last time. It's a lot. Well, I guess this is what I need now. I'll show you last time. Yeah. And as you have seen, I have a different great variety of ingredients in here that makes for a nice and interesting texture. I press it now, it will stick together. So it's not too much work now, I hope, to make my two crusts. So I take the blade out, I don't need it anymore. Yeah, and what I need now is I need 2 equal parts of this dough. And so I just take half. I don't need to be precise here. Yeah, it has to be about. So I take a big spoon and I take just 1/2 of the dough out of the food processor. Yeah, just by gross estimation. Yeah, just half of it. This should be it. Yeah, that's half. Show what I've done, that you can be sure to know what I've done here. See, that's about half of it, I would guess. Yeah. So this, I have to now, the job is now to press this down, and first to spread it evenly into the spring form. So everywhere is the same amount, is a nice even crust. And then I begin to press it down, first with the fingers, soft and gentle, to get everywhere the same texture. Not here is very firm, and here is very not so firm, and but to get it in a gentle way, soft, always turning it around to get it equal on all the sides. And then I press it firmer and firmer, so it gets now. At a certain point, I will have to use more and more strength You feel when the dowel begins to remain where it is when you press it down, it doesn't move so much anymore, then you again have to press firmer and firmer, and then you see the fat coming out of the nuts. Now that's the sign that the dough is really sticky. The fat is that one, and the sugar is what makes it stick together. So it comes out of the nuts after some time of processing, and you have to take care also when you process in the processor that you don't have too much of the oil coming out of the nuts. That wouldn't be nice. Then you have a marzipan soon. So now in the end I put my knuckles here from the fist with all my body weight onto the form, onto the crust, to make it really stick together. Yeah. And I will show you in a moment a test how you can see if it's right. Because I want to have two crusts, as I said before. So once I'm ready here, I'm done, I take out that first crust and test it. First I must be pretty sure that I'm done. So at the end is with the tips of the fingers, I go along the side, the brim, and then the outside is firm too. So once I go around, one more time in the middle, I hope that will be enough. With this cake it's even more important than the others. So here is my dough, my first crust. I hope that works. So I open that spring form now. That looks okay, right? More or less okay. There are some smaller issues here, the sides. I'll press it again, if I can do it. It seems to be I have to press a little bit more. They come off. Comes off. I have to press it a little bit more. So once again, so the sides came off. So one more time, pressing it down. That's the tricky part, that you have really a crust and you can take out. But it should work. If I would have processed longer, that would have been easier. But then the dough is not so much like a dough, it begins to get like a marzipan. And I don't want to have that, I want a dough. It's to be fluffy still. So this is always the thing you have to find out. That is the trick, that is the crux. You know, that's what you want to make sure that you get right. It should be a dough and not a marzipan. Let's see if that works now. This time I take a little knife, and before I take out the dough, I will drive around the sides to make sure the dough keeps together as one piece. So that might work now. It looks better than before. Let's see if it works. When I pull it up, sometimes it's tricky. Let's do it like this. Okay, I have an idea. I have a plate now, big plate. This, turn it around, and now I do this. And that was a good trick, right? See, I have my dough on the plate. Here, this is my first crust. This is how thick it is. So it's a very elegant cake. You see, this is one of the layers, the first layer. And you see, after I show you how I test it now, here I should push it over the plate a little bit, over the brim. And you see, I can move it a little bit, and it seems, on the surface you can see it, it seems to keep together. Very gentle. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just, it doesn't have to break apart immediately. That's what I want to make sure. So I put this dough away aside to make the second one. I use the same form as before, the same spring form. I put it in again. On those, it is as you can see, it is there's this parchment paper here, and you know now why I have to use it. It's very easy. And the second half of the dough now goes in too. And that can remain inside as it is already where it should be at the bottom. I only had to take out one, so the tricky part is finished. Now I can just do the same as before, and it's easier because it's not so important, not that important anymore. It stays inside. So the same first, I spread it evenly. It's a nice sticky dough that is still some texture, it's still fluffy, yeah, it's light, not too dense. Otherwise you have to chew on the marzipan, and then it is so heavy, the cake feels so heavy. People, when they are used to have a baked cake, they have these biscuits. Biscuit is a classical dough with bakery, and it's very light. Yeah. But this is not a biscuit, it is just nuts and dates and some spices. And I'm still working on something like a biscuit. I have made one. You find it on the internet in my videos, a roll, also with jam inside, and that is pretty much like a real biscuit. It's like the way I used zucchini. But for that I had to use the food the dryer. So now I press it a little bit in the end, a little bit firm, so it should keep together when I cut out a piece of my cake. I told you it's not as important as in the first place, the first dough, the first crust, but it's still a little bit important. I don't want to have a cake in the end where the bottom of the crust falls apart. So it's to make sure it is firm enough. Show you, yeah, it begins to look a little bit stickier. The fat begins to come out. It's shiny a little bit, and that seems to be enough. So see, I have now. This is now the bottom layer, and now almost done. First, yeah, no, I can do it now. So here's my cherry jam. Yeah. And all I did here is using the cherries. I have some fresh cherries, pitted them, put some dates in, and processed them with dates and psyllium husk. I mean, you can watch that video where I make it, no problem. So I put a good helping. Here, this is what it looks like. The jam is a fresh made. It's delicious, very sweet, and it has no spices. The spices are all in the dough, and that's nice. Put a good helping of that jam now on the first crust on the bottom. It should be good helping, yeah, not too little, because you have that only that nut crust with, of course, a lot of different nuts, and you have to use a lot of different nuts. It's nicer because there's nothing else in the cake, just the jam and the nuts. So the nuts should be a little bit more interesting. But you can, in the end, you can use any kind of nuts you like. You know? That's up to you. I just followed my intuition. I thought, what can I do? What is the texture? The walnuts are softer and they combine lighter. They make it a little bit sticky and so on. These kind of things, you know. And the coconut is a little bit firmer. It gives a little bit more structure and these kind of things. And then the flavor, of course. So here, first layer, I use a pretty nice amount of the jam here. It's almost here. It's a big layer of jam. It keeps together. And now I have to put in the other crust. So that's a little bit tricky now again. I have to be careful not to ruin the crust. So I put it on top. Here, the side falls a little bit apart, but it doesn't matter. Now very careful, as good as I can. In the end, the jam will also help to keep the crust together. Because it's liquid, it's a little bit liquid, and it goes into the nuts. And it sits for, this cake gets better and better when you let it sit for some days in the refrigerator. You can take out your first piece or so, and then you let it sit in the refrigerator, covered, of course, and then it soaks more and more through the jam. See, I show you. Well, that's okay. That's okay. I guess that's okay. Here. Some little scissors here and there, but it doesn't really matter. It's okay. The second layer is on top. I'm happy. And now the final topping, again, a little bit smaller layer of jam on top to make it nice. And of course, to give it this wonderful, nice cherry flavor, cherry character, it's a layer cake, a nut and jam layer cake. That's what the English description in the dictionary said. And of course, the correct name is a Linzertorte. They have a special different shapes in Germany or in Austria, the Linzertorte. Everybody knows it here, it's a classic. But this one is my version. End of story. Yeah. So let's see. What do you say? Convinced? Oh, you have to try it first, then you can tell me. Okay, thanks for watching, thanks for bearing with me. I hope you had fun. It was great fun for me too, anyway. And I hope maybe you would like to subscribe even. MD Vegan on YouTube, you get another recipe every single day. And you can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. I hope to see you soon.